He is the president of the Syrian National Coalition. Please welcome to the program, Hadi al-Bahra. Welcome to the program. You are the president of the Syrian National Coalition. What is that? And is that, because we're awfully confused, and by the way, sorry for destabilizing the whole region, but what is the Syrian National Coalition? What is it made up of?
Well, the Syrian National Coalition is simply the proud Syrians who seeks their justice, to regain their rights, their freedom, and to have their country with democratic rulership.
Your goal is not just the defeat of this new terrorist group, this ISIL, this ISIS, whatever they call themselves. Your goal is also to gain justice from Assad.
Sure.
Yes.
Assad is the sole cause of terrorist organization in the area. This has been since the 80s, since the invasion of Lebanon by Syrian army, since the presence of the American forces in Iraq. The origin of ISIS organization, it was the state, the Islamic State of Iraq, and it was carrying terrorist attack against American forces in Iraq at that time. Again, he invested and rebrought this same organization to terrorize the Syrian people now in order to block their free movement for freedom and democracy.
Assad did that because our understanding of ISIS is that they were fighting Assad, that they were, along with the al-Nusra Front and the Free Syrian Army, were all fighting together, or not necessarily together, but to try and defeat Assad.
Opposite. Assad never fought ISIS. ISIS never fought Assad since the start of the year and the start of the presence of ISIS inside Syria. Actually, ISIS fought only the Free Syrian Army. And Assad has carried airstrikes against the Free Syrian Army while leaving totally ISIS forces out. Go Google it out. See how many air raids against ISIS carried by Assad regime since the start of the year. You'll find nothing. All the strikes are against civilians, against people inside Aleppo, using TNT bombs and using extreme violence against his own people.
I'm a little sad that we don't know that here and that we could Google it, and then we would know it.
Yes.
That's a little sad. So why would Assad, who's essentially, this is the Alawite kingdom, and he's supported by Iran, why would he unleash a Sunni fundamentalist terrorist organization? Wouldn't they be his mortal enemy?
No, he wanted, from the start of the Syrian revolution, he had a strategy and plan. He wanted the free world to see that it's only a choice between an evil terrorist organization and an evil dictatorship. And he assumed that the world will choose the lesser of the two evils, and they will choose Assad to cooperate with. Luckily, the free world refused to do this, and they understood the game, and they stood by the Syrian people.
Are you concerned? What chance, I think the sympathies of the world are with this coalition of people who just want freedom, they just want to be left alone, they just want to live their lives. How do you combat? Assad is backed by Iran and in some ways backed by Russia. ISIL is backed by maybe Assad, maybe they're getting money from some of the other more fundamentalist regimes in the area. How is a group like this going to defeat them and create something stable?
Mainly by our will and our patience. This is the future of our kids, our granddaughters and sons. We have been fighting them since 4 years, and the world has kept silence. Nobody moved. They moved only against ISIS, while they didn't move and do anything for Assad. Mm-hmm. But we, the people of Syria, will carry on our fight, and will fight until we win back our freedom, and we'll achieve our quest into a democratic society.
How would you, and I wish you very well with that. What do you say? So now a coalition has formed that they are going to do strategic airstrikes that they believe will weaken ISIS. Will they weaken them to the extent that, is this some sort of round robin? Does the Free Syrians have to fight and defeat ISIS and then take on Assad? Because it seems that the coalition is unwilling to utilize their power against Assad.
Well, it's our American friends here, they have to know that we have been fighting ISIS since the first quarter of this year. We have been fighting two fronts war. We've been fighting ISIS and the regime, Assad regime, at the same time with very little help of the world. We cannot carry on the fight on two fronts at the same time without the assistance of our friends in the US and other free world.
If we give you weapons, can we put labels on them? Because we have a tendency to get weapons over there, and then the bad guys come and take them because we tend to leave.
I guess we have passed this. As you know, ISIS has went into Iraq, and they already captured all the weapons provided to the Iraqi armies. But for us, we are fighting for our own freedoms. We have been handling sophisticated weapon system, anti-tanks weapons, and they are kept, very well kept, within the hand of the Free Syrian Army.
Can you work also with the Iraqi government? Will they work in concert with you to help defeat these two menaces and to stabilize the region?
It's not anymore Syrian problem. It's not anymore even regional problem. It is an international problem. We are talking about an organization with 30 different nationalities within this organization.
Right.
You have Americans, you have British, you have France.
Have you seen an uptick in support? Have you seen an uptick in coalition support going your way since all this occurred? You're here for the UN mission. Have you seen, are you getting the help that you think you need and that your people deserve?
I think the world has started to move in the right direction. It's not to our expectation as of yet, but I think slowly it will build up toward that direction. They need to notice that they cannot eliminate terrorism by only military operations. It has to be much, much more than military operation. You have to have a social, political program. You need to provide a vision of political life for all the region in the Middle East.
I think that's the fascinating part. So can you stick around for a little bit?
Sure.
We'll come back, and then I want to talk about what could work there, because it's something that I think America thought they tried in Iraq, were not successful with, thought they were trying in Afghanistan, were not successful with. So what a world like that would look like, I think would be important to find out, to delineate. All right, so we'll be right back. Hadi al-Bahra, we'll be right back. All right, we're speaking with the president of the Syrian National Coalition, Hadi al-Bahra. Thank you for joining us. Obviously, there's a very difficult time in your country. So you are based in Turkey now. You can't be based in Syria because they would come after you.
Yes, our head office is in Istanbul, Turkey, but our people exist inside Syria. We have the local councils, we have civil defense teams, we have police force inside liberated areas under the control of the opposition.
Is there, what has been the reluctance of a country like Turkey to involve themselves in the fight and to not close down the borders and to keep them so porous in terms of black market oil going back and forth, fighters going back and forth? How difficult is it to get them to close that down?
You cannot look at it this way. Turkey always faces a very hard, tough choices to make. Because either they go in a strict security system where they will not allow the easy flow of Syrian people out of Syria and inside Syria and food and supply. The other option is to let the humanitarian convoys and the free movement of the Syrian people easier. Always Turkey chose to stay on the humanitarian side of the problem, risking its own even security. But today, as we heard in the news, that Mr. Erdogan has announced his support to the coalition, and he said Turkey cannot stay any longer outside of this coalition.
So you believe we have reached a certain coalescence point where the world will take this seriously now, and it will change things on the ground?
It has to be changed. It's a risk you cannot ignore anymore.
Right.
Shall we wait until we see these guys all over in the United States or in Europe? We are your front line. We have been fighting, as I said, from the first quarter of this year alone. Isn't it enough or about time now for you to support us? Now you are supporting with the weapons, with supplies, with the humanitarian aid, which you should do more aggressively with us because we are the front line in the war against terrorism.
Is it difficult for, as you observe this, to watch our Congress not come back from their break to talk about it? Is that seem like an abdication of a responsibility in your eyes?
For us, I mean, we look at our own national interests and our way of life as the American people. They don't feel the danger of this because it's far away from their homeland. But for us, we can foresee it's a problem to our national interest, to the region, and to the world. So we should, I think all of us, we should be more responsible in this.
What does a stable situation look like? Because the entire region, I mean, you can distill the conflict in Syria, but the entire region is sort of trapped between these despots and terrorists. You have autocracies and you have these Islamist groups that are bringing terror. And it seems like there's a large majority of people in the middle that are caught between this fight.
No, for us as Syrian people, we seek democracy and freedom for all. We seek protection of all the Syrian people. You know, Syria is unique in its position. We have many ethnicity, many religions in our land. Syrian society is open, moderate society. Syria is the only country in the world where you have people who speak with the tongue of Jesus until now. If we were extremist country, you wouldn't find these guys.
No. I mean, that's my point, I think, is that it's a moderate people, but they're trapped between extremists and authoritarian.
I think the whole region will have to move into more democratic type of governing procedure and systems. I think it will move. It started already in Tunisia, in Egypt, and other countries.
Right.
Nobody can move against the movement of history. So I think Syria will be the cornerstone of democracy in the region.
And your group is working to rebuild that civil society. Have you created enough of a free zone for yourselves that there's at least some semblance of safety for at least that group?
As you know, until now, we don't have a free zone inside Syria. We control land, but we don't have air defense for it. So daily, these areas being bombarded by Assad regime using TNT barrels, all type of bombs.
So if they did a no-fly zone, would that be at least the first step, create a no-fly zone over Syria?
This should be the first thing to consider in order to provide this swift transition of power inside Syria and allow people chance to live a little normally in the liberated area and to start look and build their future.
Is the drawback to that Iran will not allow that or that Russia will not allow that? Who is standing in the way of a no-fly zone over that area?
I think only Russia and Iran are the front in opposing this no-fly zone.
Okay, so we have to go to a war with... All right, hold on. Let me work this out. I'm just working out this math.
I don't think they will go to war. If you remember when the chemical attack which Assad carried out against his own people, and 1,400 people died, the U.S. put a red line and threatened about using force. When Assad felt that the U.S. is serious about using force, he backed out and he signed the agreement to disarm and let go of his chemical weapon. Russia at that time said they are not ready to fight for any regime in the area. So all what we need the resolve by the US and by our friends, and really to tell Assad enough is enough. If we treat the sole cause, for sure we will be 50% away in our fight against terrorism.
And you feel this will not trigger or create a deeper fault line between the Sunni and the Shia community? You don't feel like that will trigger...
It is not a sectarian war. It is, Assad tried to make it as a sectarian war. He had tried to ignite it. Until now, he could not.
Well, I wish you all the best. I know you have a book.
I have one bracelet, which I've been asked to give you.
So we're going steady now, I think, is what's happening. We are... This, though, this is what's remarkable. I think I want to get to this.
And I have this great book to remember the first 100,000 people killed in Syria by Assad regime. This project was carried out with the dream started by a nice American lady here, Mrs. Lina Sergei. and I would like to give it to you with some nice...
It's astonishing. This is a book of 100,000 that have been killed during this terrible war, and you were telling me that there are another 100,000 that they could put into
over
another.
than 200,000 people.
Well, here's the hope that there will be no more books and that you will find the peace that you're looking for. I really appreciate you being here. Hadi al-Bahra, thank you for